So in this video, I'm going to show you my technique for positioning mics to get a good sound with whatever sound source I'm trying to record. And just like I mentioned, I really try to emphasize using your ears. Your ears are the #1 guide to what the right way to record a sound is. And to remember, what you're listening for is not necessarily the perfect sound, but a sound that is going to be work well for your mix and for your purpose. And that just sounds good and sort of feels like the right thing to you. And the way that I do this is I use direct monitoring. So I'm using my headphones and a microphone. The microphone I'm using is this Shure SM87. It's a condenser microphone, but it's designed for live use, so it's kind of in a traditional Shure SM58 form factor, but it is a condenser mic going through my Babyface audio digital analog to digital converter, and I have it direct hardware monitoring enabled, so I'm listening to the sound of the microphone directly through my headphones. Through the Rode USB Mini Mark II, whatever, the USB Mini, NT2 Mini, whatever. To enable direct monitoring, you have to push the little gain knob in, and you'll see a little LED light up, and you'll hear the sound from the microphone directly through your headphones with no latency at all. And once I'm done this, I got my microphone in a microphone stand, and I'm just going to move it around as I'm playing the guitar, and I'm listening for those different locations that how different locations sound very, very different, to try to find one that sounds like it's going to be the best application for, or best fit for sort of the track or the music I'm trying to create. So the one thing I might do right off the bat is just check that my input gain is configured appropriately. I'm looking over at Reaper right now, and I can tell that I'm clipping occasionally. That might actually be just a handling noise, or it could be other things, but I can tell that I need to turn the input gain down. So I'm going to clear the clipping indicator by clicking on the red dot, go back to my system preferences, and I'm going to turn my input gain down a little bit. And then I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to check back in a second to see if it's still clipping. All right, so I got my microphone in my microphone stand. I've got the microphone stand completely loosened, so it's letting me move the mic relatively freely, although I'm still constrained by the mic stand position. And now I'm going to start playing, and I'm just going to move the microphone around, and we'll hear how the different location of the microphone affects the sound in different ways. So you get a sense that there's a wide variety of sounds you can get by moving the mic to different locations. So there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about, some specific to acoustic guitar and some general. One is that you don't always necessarily want to be focusing at where the sound is being created. So in this instance, the sound is being created with my fingers, and there's also coming out the sound hole of the guitar, there's air moving in and out of the sound hole of the guitar. And you might think that the most obvious place to put the microphone is facing right towards that. But something about that, to me, sounds a bit muddy. It doesn't sound like it has some of the clarity and the crispness that I'd be looking for. Where backing off a little bit and aiming it slightly towards the fretboard gives me a nice balance between crispness, and it still has like the fullness of the acoustic guitar sound. So just experimenting with the location in that way can make a big difference. Something else is how close should the mic be to the instrument that you're trying to record. Remember, any directional microphone, like a cardioid microphone, is going to have a proximity effect. The closer you move the microphone to the instrument, the more the bass frequencies are going to be accentuated. That as I move the mic away, up to about a foot away, where the proximity effect basically goes away. You can really hear as it got louder and it clipped over here, I can tell. But it also, the bass response was much louder than when it was further away. So that's something you want to keep an eye on as well. Sometimes adding proximity effect can be really nice. It can help to flesh out the sound or make it sound fuller, but sometimes it just is too much, and so you kind of have to try to balance it. So you also notice that the most common locations for acoustic guitar are pointing at the neck, sometimes pointing at like the 12th fret, and sometimes angling a little bit towards the sound hole. And just moving, 3 to 6 inches closer or further away from the guitar has definitely an impact on the sound. So I listen really carefully to try to figure out exactly the right location there. Another common location is facing the body, kind of underneath the sound hole. A very different kind of character. You get a little bit less of the finger on fretboard sound of your fretting hand, and a little bit less of the string noise, a little bit more mid-range honkiness. Sometimes people put their microphone behind the bridge, so you can see, if I hold it with this hand, kind of pointing at the body of the guitar right behind where the bridge is. And that's going to have a really kind of honky mid-range sound. Put it right over the bridge, you balance that out with some of the sound coming from the sound holes, a little bit fuller. But it's not as bright as this. Really big difference in sound, but there's not one right solution. Either one of those might be appropriate for the different track that you're trying to make. So I'm going to go ahead and set it, listen a little bit. I'm going to set it right there, and I'm going to tighten my microphone stand to keep it in place. So I'm going to record a take. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to Reaper, and I'm going to tap into tempo. So if I go over to where the BPM is, it turns into a tap button. And it's going to tap into tempo. I'm going to make sure my track is record enabled, my gain is set correctly, and my cursor is set to 0, and then I'm going to hit record. I'll always leave a little bit of silence at the beginning and ending of the track to make sure that the sound rings out and dies out in a natural format, especially for something like this, which is an entire take that I just recorded. All right. So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to make a new track. Record enable it, and I'm going to call it Melody 1. I'm set my cursor back to 0. I'm going to grab a pick. And I'm going to push play. very healthy level going in there. I would even say a little bit hot, risking clipping, but I'm doing okay for right now. I'm going to try something. I'm going to move the microphone now. I think it sounds good. I'm going to record another track that's going to be a different voice. I'm going to make this be a bass track. Let's see if that works. I made a flub in there.